beautiful sunshine here in southwestern Ontario. We are at the St. Clair College campus, heading into the Sportsplex, where it's going to be a very hot day. Two outstanding basketball games here to continue on the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dominic Pop. Of course, joining me is our color analyst, Logan Kuchera, and we got as I mentioned, two great games to watch today. It's the semifinal matches of this tournament. We're going to start with this first one. It's the Mohawk Mountaineers taking on the George Brown Huskies. You know, a lot of people have been asking me, Logan, who's going to win? And I'm stumped. I just don't know where even to go with this stuff. It's so tight. These teams are so close. George Brown's really hot right now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're on an 18-game win streak, and you know they've done really well this season. So has Mohawk. So I think it's going to be a close game tonight.
Is there anything that you know of that might distinguish, or what's going to be key to it for a team to establish themselves here?
I think speed is going to be one of the keys to this game because both teams are fast-paced. I think that's what we're going to see tonight.
Okay, well, we had a chance to talk to Brian Jonker, the head coach of the Mohawk Mountaineers. Got his thoughts about his opponent's team, and I'll tell you what, he's got nothing but respect for the George Brown Huskies.
Wow, they're deep, they're athletic, they're long. We played them at their place at Christmas and had an absolutely fantastic game. It was a great game. So I anticipate much of the same today. It's probably something that'll go right down to the wire. But yeah, they're the biggest issues for us today will be finding a way to deal with constant ball pressure and limiting their points in transition, I think.
Brian Jonker's a lot of positive thoughts. He knows what he's up against today in this George Brown team. He told me he was up all night watching video. Like, this is a real intense tournament, and the time is so compact. You have to put a lot of work in a short period of time. How tough is that?
It is definitely tough. I remember being in this exact situation a couple years ago, right on my home court here, and you just have to come prepared, stay in the moment, stay focused, and just be patient. If you're not patient, it's going to cause a lot of turnovers. As
Logan mentioned, George Brown, they're on an 18-game winning streak. Boy, oh boy, a lot of people might be thinking they're due for a loss. At least that's probably what Mohawk's thinking. They're due for a loss. Let's make it happen today. But we had a chance to catch up with assistant coach Marlon Green. He talked about the emotion that his team is going to play with, and that could be part of this game here this afternoon.
You asked a very good question. At the end of the day, this is something that we've always been preparing for when we put this team together. So emotions is always the first thing because we always knew that based off the team we had that we could have, you know, a really good season, and everybody has to be 100% in, and that means mentally, physically, and academically. So that part we're ready because we've been practicing this. As you could see, you know, our guys our team don't have 500 technicals. Our coach is fiery, but our players are not fiery back and forth. Our players are very low key, laid back because mentally they're focused. So we've been practicing this all year round.
No doubt there will be a lot of emotion. Logan, I needed a prediction from you. It's a toss-up for me. I really don't. I'm going to go with George Brown, but
I honestly have no clue. I think it's too close to call right now because both teams have had successful seasons so far, and they came here. They're not done yet, so I think it's going to go right to that final buzzer.
All right, when we come back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex, the opening tip in the call, Justin Prince and Jana Kuchera with all the action. You're watching the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships on We Digital Productions.
From 8 teams down to just 4. It's semifinal day for the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship from St. Clair College here in Windsor, Ontario. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the move today again is Janica Serra as we get ready for today's matchup. It's the Mohawk Mountaineers and the George Brown Huskies. A chance to go to the finals on the line. These two teams looking to pick up a chance to battle for the gold. George Brown for the first time since 2020. Mohawk for the first time since 2015.
It's going to be a good one, Justin.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups to begin today's action. The starting lineups carried over from yesterday. Daniel Graham and Ramel Calora, along with Mackenzie Hart. Jerry Mercury Jr. a number change over from 13 to 15. Cal Calora rounding out the starting five for the 14-4 Mountaineers. George Brown, meanwhile, the only team from the East now carrying an 18-game winning streak, including the playoffs. They also will be carrying their same starting lineup seen yesterday. That features Robert Ocampo along with Chris Fields, Derek Taylor, Nazim Berry, and DMB2 Kumesu. As the starting five, George Brown has not lost a game since late October, early November. All set to go for today's matchup with a chance to battle for a name and a team on this plaque by tomorrow if you win this game today.
Exactly. It's going to be, a hard-fought battle between both teams, and I'm excited to watch it play out here today.
Today's referees, Troy Bennett, Dave Cardia, along with Bessie Maloney, be the officials for today's matchup. Mohawk in their black and orange jerseys today. George Brown in their white and blue jerseys. Glad to have you with us from Windsor, Ontario, here on Wheat Digital. It's the semifinals, the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship, and it's underway from the Rose City. Starting things off, the Huskies. Ocampo already directing traffic to set up the first opportunity for the Huskies today. Given off this time to Fields. Moved around the outside, Nazim Berry. Ocampo getting the slip screen now, looking for movement. B2 Kumesu not coming for a moment. Now inside on the drive. Fields, no good. Second chance on the rebound, no good. 12 still on the shot clock. Deflected away, picked up down low by Taylor. Back to the outside, reset with 5 on the shot clock. Taylor avoids one reach, pulls up for 3. It's good.
Nice shot there by Taylor, making space at the end of the shot clock.
Kept an eye and shoot around. That was one of the major focal points, in fact, in the shoot around. Making open threes. That's what they nailed the most in pregame. No good on the first shot for the Mountaineers. Tapped by B2 Kumesu and out of bounds it goes, staying Mohawk possession.
Nice hustle there by Graham to keep the ball alive and getting it off the Husky player hand at the end.
Shot clock had kept rolling in that sequence, so they will have to reset the shot clock with 8:51 to go in the first quarter of play. 3-0 George Brown to start things off here on Weeds Digital. Justin Prince, Janet Casero with you for today's matchup. They've added a few seconds back onto the clock and 6 seconds to the play clock. Now with it after the inbound, this is Ramel Calora. Off the bounce to Hart. No good on the bucket. Moved up this time by Fields. Outside, Ocampo, the 3. No good. Second chance, Taylor there for the putback.
There we see Taylor again being aggressive.
Derek Taylor yesterday, a 13-point, 13-rebound outing. Whistle called, out of bounds, Mohawk. George Brown basketball.
Graham trying to drive baseline there, just steps out of bounds.
Huskies, keep in mind, picked up a couple medals in the past 5 years or so. 2016-17, the silver medalist. 2019-20, a gold medal back then. Quick pass, bounces off of Hart. Poked away and reaching in, Nazim Berry. First personal, first team foul called quickly there. Keep in mind, Mohawk yesterday being the Humber Hawks, the defending provincial and national champions. With a much different look squad this year. 93-81 the score for the Mountaineers over the Hawks yesterday. On the drive, Cale Calor is good.
Nice take getting past the Huskies defender there.
Taylor giving back to Fields. Gonna move around, Berry on the pass set up. To Kumesu, over to Campo. Back up top, Berry. looking for options, tries to drive it, spins back. Kale Kaora with the contact, give it back to Barry. Barry faded away to beat the shot clock off the back of the rim. Second chance, B2 Komesu. Outside, Fields, 3, no good. Trying to chase zone miss, picked up by Ramon Camaro instead. Moved up by Graham, poked away by Ocampo. Campo off the bounce to Fields on the drive, no good. Kaora is on the rebound. Kale with it. About 3 minutes into this first quarter of play. Score so far, 5-2, George Brown. Down to the low post. Hart poked away by Fields. Fields on the fast break. Looking to make something inside. 0 for 3 inside the paint so far. Kale on the drive. Rejected by Fields. Second chance, Mercury Jr. draws a whistle. And he'll go to the line to shoot for 2. And that going against Ocampo on the personal is first.
Nice take by the Mohawk Mountaineers there, and Mercury with the rebound.
Now, Mercury Jr. yesterday, a very strong performance. 15 points, 13 rebounds in 31 minutes. It's his first trip of the weekend to the free throw line. As the first one's good.
He always has an impressive stat line. He's worked hard. I can call him a good friend, and it's fun to watch him play.
And in your discussions prior to the game with Mercury Jr. in turn, how was he feeling about this matchup?
He was feeling confident. He said it's good to be back in the Saints gym, and he was going to give it all.
Mercury Jr., former St. Clair Saint, early parts of the decade. After the stoppage, by the way, Contre Campbell into the matchup for the first time today. Also in Andre Barrow. Talk about him in a moment. Outside, Jeremiah Brown, no good. Picked up by Barrow on the rebound. Move back to Taylor. Outside on the drive, now inside. Fields looking, making his first bucket inside.
Fields not too tall, but he's getting in there right to the bucket. Releasing high, getting it off the backboard to go in.
3-point lead for George Brown. Kale cuts, drives, makes it. Kaora, the younger of the two callers, with the bucket.
Those Clora brothers, they got good handles. Both play the point guard position really well.
No good on the jump shot. Taylor, meanwhile. Putting on to it now. This is Ramel on the drive. Contact. And that draws the foul. Taylor.
Speaking of, again, getting inside, getting to the bucket, and drawing the foul.
Taylor's first. So this brings, for the first time, Ramel Camaro to the line. 4 for 5 yesterday from the stripe, 17 points, 7 rebounds. The Mohawk Mountaineers victory. His brother Kale joined him in on the scoring with 19 points and an additional 6 for 8 at the stripe too. Second one's no good. Second chance by Mercury Jr. Rejected away. Taken up on the fast break. Round for Taylor. Taylor, the spin, the drive, front of the rim, no good. Jump ball, no whistle called. Over the back. Here's to be the discussion point.
Yep, Taylor being a little too aggressive there.
He was literally over his back. And just like that, Derek Taylor, one of the star players yesterday, already in foul trouble, his second personal. And 4 quick team fouls for George Brown. They are already on the cusp of being over the limit. Starting to show a press. Crowd now backs itself off. Mercury Jr. Jr. holds on to it. Now looks to drive past Campbell. Snaps out. Backs out. Loses the possession.
Unfortunate bounce there for Mercury Jr. Tried saving it, but couldn't.
Second time down the baseline, out of bounds. Fields over to Barrow. Now with it, this is Jeremiah Brown. Brown, 6th man for the East of the year. Good.
Talking to some of George Brown's assistant coaches before the game, they said he was going to be one player that Mohawk was going to have to watch out for.
Quiet day yesterday for Jeremiah Brown on the board today. No good after the steal, meanwhile. Kale Kaworo on the drive, now pulls back for the slowdown, now popped up, stolen away, back-to-back possessions. Fields off outside, Campbell on the cut is Robert, and an offensive foul.
And the other Clair brother getting in that ready position to take that charge.
Right there, just at the edge of the restricted area, just outside of it. And it looks like more substitutions coming in. By the way, is a 5th team foul for George Brown, the first for Robert. Once the substitutions in for this stoppage, Von Ansko, the 6th man of the year for the West Division, wants those in. Remember the Women's Basketball Championship going on out of town. Fanshawe Humber currently underway in a tight one. Remember St. Clair had their matchup at the quarterfinals yesterday. Well, that one short down low. Pass break taken up by Fields. Now on the size up of the drive, it's Jeremiah Brown trying the whistle for 2 free throws. First time today, George Brown will head to the stripe. Let's go quickly with his first personal.
Both teams starting the game off aggressive so far.
Fields out of the game, meanwhile, with the substitution. One of those now in. Jacob Masters, the first free throw comes in. Now, as mentioned with Brown, quiet yesterday, 0 for 4 from the field and 3 turnovers. In the regular season, he was the leading scorer for the squad.
And sometimes you're going to have those games where you're quiet, and then you'll bounce back the next day. And so far, he's doing that.
After the second free throw miss, 10-7, George Brown under 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. Graham passes out, open 3, no good off of the top. That is Ray Von Young on the attempt. Down on the drive, the kick out. Move back on the extra pass, Barrow open to the right, no good. Young draws a foul. And Masters caught for his first personal. George Brown over the limit. So that means free throws coming up for Mohawk. Look at the replay.
Just over the foot of the George Brown player.
So Munsto's coming out now with this stoppage. Graham for Kale Kawara. Young sends up the free throw line. First one makes its wish. Young yesterday, 10 points, along with 3 rebounds and 2 assists, but was 50% from the free throw line. This time he starts 2 for 2. Low scoring first quarter of play. Campbell. Robert battling high post, given off now. Barrow. Move back out to Campbell. Campbell spins from the baseline, moves up towards the top of the arc, off the pass for the dunk. It's Robert.
Robert was ready for that cut right from the get-go.
Naz Robert getting involved in the offense. Kale Kawara off the pump, lays it in response.
That's one thing I really like about the Clair brothers. They're very patient with the ball, and as you can see, he got the George Brown player to jump up over him.
Coming up to 3 minutes to go in the first. Barrow moves it back to Robert. Moved around Jeremiah Brown. Brown contested 3. Airballs it, no good. Rebound picked up by Ensko. Taken around to Young. Move back now to Mercury Jr. On the cutback. Kale Kawara. Whistle. Other way we go. Personal going against Kale Kawara. Look at the previous cut.
He got some airtime on that dunk, too. Nice finish by the Husky player, Robert.
So Kale Kawara with his first personal, second team foul. Mercury Jr. now out of the game. Substitution. Hart back in. Around to Robert. Robert. Late Kale Kawara sliding as he dunks it.
2 in a row. He's hyped up.
Naz Robert putting out the ankle breaker. Kale Kaora looking to spin away from Robert, passes it out. The shot by Ansko drops in response.
Nice response there by the Mohawk Mountaineers.
Quickly back at the other end. George Brown swings it over to Campbell. Roll off the fake. Now give it over to Brown. Brown guarded by Ansko. 10 on the shot clock. Brown, left hand, good.
I like how he was able to bounce back after almost losing the ball.
And a quick personal. Young again draws it. Timeout Taylor off the personal. The swipe.
Yep, definitely got him there.
Barrow out. Masters back in. And Young back to the free throw line. Now, it's important to note, Mohawk yesterday, 21 field goal attempts. But also, wow, just put him on a slider.
Got the in and out. Don't think he was expecting that one.
Mm-hmm. Young, meanwhile, 3 for 3 so far from the charity stripe. Make it 3 for 4. Rebound picked up by Jeremiah Brown. Moved up by Terrell Taylor. With it, Masters. Back outside to Robert. Robert this time knocks over Romel Camara. The 3 drops. It's good. Masters. And one athleticism we've seen. Kale Kaora spin cycle, bounces to the Hart. Back on the reset, Kale Kaora now to the paint. Back out to Romel. Romel Kaora for the 3. No good. Tapped out to Hart on the second chance. Now back to Young. Coming up to the final minute of the first quarter of play. Romel Kaora, no good. Picked up by Robert on the board. Fast break. Now up to Tyrell Taylor. Down to the baseline. Slowed down for Jeremiah Brown. Robert. Move to the corner. Now the baseline drive in the midst of traffic to Brown off the pass. Draws contact. Kale Kaora in the vicinity for second personal. Now he's
a little bit of chaos happening down on the Mohawk end. George Brown comes back with a response, and they'll head to the foul line.
Gales at both ends sees Kale Kaora with 2 personals. 2 of his team's 3 fouls. Now his direction as Graham comes back into the game for Romel Kaora. Brown makes the first 2. But the athleticism very huge when it comes to a game like this. We've seen some very athletic plays, I will say, from the Huskies to start.
Yes, definitely, I agree.
And a lane violation, but the free throw is made regardless. So how do you counter that if you're Mohawk?
I think you just got to keep, they have to keep playing their game. You know, what they're capable of, what their coaches taught them, and go from there. Play basketball.
Simple as that. So, Mountaineers set up for the inbound. Press shown by George Brown. Now they try and trap along the baselines up towards the midline. Kale Kaora pass to Young. Young drives wide open. Bucket and one. Count it.
That was a nice strong take there by Young.
Naz Robert his second personal.
As soon as he got that ball back at the half line, he was going right to the rim.
And their substitution, Mercury Jr. in. Kale Kaora with the 2 personals coming out. Also back to the game Fields, this time for Jeremiah Brown. Chance to trim the gap down to 4. Looks like George Brown trying to rush in the response. Free throw no good. Hart chases it to the sideline to keep it going. 12 to win the shot clock. Back to a very quiet starting Graham. Graham shoots it from way deep, rims out. Picked up by Campbell on the rebound, avoiding a couple reaches. Moved down, outside, 3, good.
Masters knew he was shooting the ball as soon as he got it in his hands.
2-second different shot clock and game clock. Looking back, Young starting to try and set up isolation. The entire side of the court, he's on wide open to his left. Moves to his right. spins back left from the double, loses the ball and drops it out of bounds with 4.4 seconds to go in the quarter.
That's an unfortunate turnover and one you can't have with less than 5 seconds left.
See, just bounced it off his leg.
You know what? Unlucky.
Last shot of the quarter. Fields looks, floats it from half court. No good. And after 10 minutes of play, the George Brown Huskies lead by 8, 24-16. More coverage coming up after this. You're watching Windsor from St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario.
For every big breath, for every little breath, and for every breath in between, Ontario Power Generation is committed to keeping Ontario's air clean. That's why the power we generate is 99% free of smog and carbon emissions. Because clean air matters to us all.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is, put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
What can milk do? Well, it can turn you into a morning person. It can help fuel some pretty tough stuff. And it can definitely make cartoons funnier.
No, it can't.
Oh, well, it can have a little edge. But come on, even kiddies love it. It'll keep up with you at any age. It makes engines whir and creme brulee creamy. It's one of the easiest labels you'll ever read. And anything that makes this happen is pretty special. In fact, what can't milk do?
Look over to the Mohawk Mountaineers bench as Mohawk trails by 8 to the George Brown Huskies. Prince Janica Sarah with you here on Weeds Digital. Your thoughts after the first quarter of play? Things stayed tight and contested until those final couple minutes.
Yes, both teams started the game, aggressive, and in the end, George Brown ended up scoring more points. So we'll see how Mohawk bounces back this second quarter to try and get the game even closer.
George Brown, 9 for 24 from the field in the quarter. 5 for 14, the Mohawk Mountaineers. Those wondering, the offensive rebounds were both even at 6 apiece. Lots of offensive rebounds. Back underway, started things off with a bobble and a drop by Graham. Pass break by George Brown. Outside corner, Masters. He's mastered the triples today.
He sure has.
That's his third three so far today. It's been one of the strengths for the Huskies. 4 triples. They had just 5 yesterday in their entire matchup. Moved around the outside to Graham. 7 on the shot clock. Over Fields. Fields deflects it away. And there's a reason Fields picked up the Defensive Player of the Year in the East. Moved around to Campbell for the 3. No good. Second chance tap. Picked up instead by Hart. About 1 minute into the second quarter of play. George Brown leads 27-16 for Mohawk. For 3, Mercury Jr. Front of the rim, no good. Ensko tries to tap it back. Instead chased down for the rebound by Darnell Richards. Dubbed by Fields. Now with it is Masters. On the swing around, Campbell, set play. Back out to Masters. This time, contested the 3. Doesn't go in. Picked up by Ramel on the rebound. On the break, Mercury Jr. No putback defense as the bucket drops.
And that's what Mohawk has to do to slowly chip their way back into this ball game.
Mountaineers trailing by 9. Fields. Round by Masters in offensive foul down low in the post. Darnell Richards in the vicinity of the whistle for his first. That was also a major talking point. Fouls, and more from George Brown.
Yep. They were already in Mohawk was already in bonus in that first quarter, so they're gonna have to watch how over aggressive they are to keep those fouls to a minimum.
Already, Ocampo into the game for three. The Mountaineers get the triple. Clair quickly putting up the bucket from outside. So far, slow start for George Brown. Just 3 points in the first 2 minutes. So far, Mohawk with 5. Outside, Fields looking for a three off the front of the rim, no good. Last touch, they say, by Ocampo. Mohawk Mountaineers basketball.
Mohawk came out of that first quarter. They were sitting on the bench longer, talking with their coach. George Brown was already out on the floor. Sometimes that's a difference maker in the first couple of minutes of a new quarter. They're bringing the energy.
And it looks like the Huskies showing a bit of the trap. Screen set for Kale Kawara after the sub. Mercury Jr. driving baseline, gets the bucket. So far, a 7-3 run. Fields runs up to the cup and makes it.
He saw the open lane, took it right to the rim.
More trap. This time the half-court variety. Move back outside to Ramel. Move to Kale. Size up, now back with Ansco. Ansco stripped away by Ocampo. Taken up on the break by Campbell. Moved outside. This is Berry. Berry out to Barrow. Out to Fields. Fields testing the range again. Rattles in the tray. Just like that, the Mohawk Mountaineers run deflated. 32-23, just past 3 minutes into the second quarter. Ansco, baseline drive, stopped by Fields again. Barrow on the board. Barrow speeds past 3 Mountaineers, gives it off to Ocampo. Offensive foul, credit that to Barrow. His first personal, team second.
Again, Mohawk right there, ready to take that charge. Feet were set, and bam.
Kilgore taking the charge. Masters comes into the game. Looking to play things forward, Kale Kawara. Surrounded by Ocampo and Masters. Long pass taken by Hart. Young moved over to Kale Kawara. To Ramel for the three. Front of the rim, no good. Hart on the board. Run by Young. Now out to Kale Kawara for three. It's good.
One brother misses. The other brother makes.
Taken up slowly by Campbell. Give it to Fields. Fields thought about the three. Keeps it for the drive. Kicks it out. Masters looking to set up an opening. Outside. Stepping back. Handball with the anchor point. Got it on the bucket.
George Brown is definitely looking good from beyond the arc. That three-point line.
Major difference one day can make. Campbell flanked it around, stays at that side of the floor. Mohawk basketball. And another substitution coming in. Jeremiah Brown in now for Fields. And already a signal for a timeout for the first time. Let's look at the play. So with that, timeout.
Yep, George Brown started off slow in that second quarter, and they look like they're bouncing back just like that, knocking down threes, doing all the right things to get those open shots.
35-26 the score for George Brown over Mohawk so far. As we take a look at the Mountaineers, let's look again at how the stat lines were in the regular season. Remember, they beat Humber in the quarterfinal, get to the semifinals to at least guarantee a chance to battle for the medals tomorrow. And they were a stellar scoring team, as talked about yesterday.
Yes, absolutely they were. They don't have as much height sometimes as other teams, but somehow they managed to get in there into the rim and score those buckets when they're needed the most.
Combined Ansco, so far the only player with first-year eligibility who has seen the court for Mohawk. In fact, just 2 players, their first year for the Mountaineer squad. A lot of veteran presence on the squad for Brian Jonker this season.
Yes, definitely. When I was playing, I actually remember some of these players. So they've been around for quite some time, and they're a team full of vets.
So coming out of the timeout, 35-26 the score. George Brown quickly rushing out from their timeout huddle. Mohawk with the basketball. One timeout remaining for the Mountaineers, both remaining for the Huskies in the half. Kale Kawara loses the ball again, picks it back up. Trying to drive, avoids the swat, picks up the miss regardless. Moved up by Masters. Off the pass, touched by Campbell, out of bounds.
It was the right idea there by the George Brown players. One drove to the net, other one was cutting in. The pass was just a little too hard. Couldn't catch it.
See some of the discussion from the sideline there. Cam Kawara. As Young cut inside. Rommel trying to open up. Mercury Jr. to Rommel. Rommel sizes back. 11 on the shot clock. Hart back to Rommel. Still can't find an opening. Over to Hart. Now to Kale. Kale Kawara. Move back to Mercury Jr. 3 in the shot clock. Mercury Jr. is the ball again. Taken up by Masters. Quick pass to Jeremiah Brown. No good. Front of the rim. Mercury Jr. full court pass to Kale Kawara. Moves it back to Rommel for the transition 3 off the side of the rim. Picked up this time by Ocampo. The Huskies slowed down the tempo. Campbell set up the play. Now give it up to Ocampo. Back to Campbell. Jeremiah Brown moves to the near side corner. Now moves to the other side. Moved around to Barry. To the corner. Campbell 3 in the shot clock. Puts it up. Misses it. Mercury Jr. to the rebound. Mercury Jr. Move back to Young. Back left. Rommel puts up the 3. No good again. Rebound picked up that time by Brown. Ocampo picks up tempo. Masters the 3. Front of the rim again. No good. Young has one-on-one with Ocampo. Driving, spinning, squeezed by 2 Huskies. Out to Hart. Back to Young. Over to Kale Kawara. Over to Rommel. Rommel to Kale. Kale the 3. Kale no good. Move back for a fresh 14 on the drive. Mercury Jr. puts up the bucket for the first time in a minute and 20 seconds.
It's a nice finish there by Mercury Jr.
Campbell tries to pass it, has it stripped. Kale Kawara takes it up. Looking over top the defenders. Mercury Jr. gets doubled. Bounce pass to Hart. Knocking down Ocampo. Whistle signaled on the shot. Looks like personal is the call. And timeout is signaled. Possibly. No offensive foul. Going against Hart that time is first.
Ocampo was definitely set there and ready to take that.
For that, mentioning down the sideline, Naz Robert coming in. Fields takes it contested off the front of the rim, no good. Robert picks up the board for a fresh 14. Fields looking with movement with Campbell, gets it back. Down low, Robert quickly rolls it out in a late foul. Naz Robert to the line to shoot 2.
See that replay here. I think he got him on the body as he was landing. Right there, yep.
2 fouls in about a minute for Mackenzie Hart. With under 3 minutes to go in this first half, 35-28. Some impressive athleticism today from Robert. He's now got 5 points so far this first half. Again, he was fairly impressive off the bench yesterday too, where he picked up 8 points. 4-4 from the stripe. Tyrell Taylor now coming into the game meanwhile for Cal Campbell. Moved up by Graham. Graham looking to drive over Fields, gets the bucket.
George Brown left that lane open wide for Graham, and he wasn't afraid and took it.
That's his first make of the day. While Barry pulls up mid-range, contested, good.
Nice shot there by Barry.
Hart bounces, Graham draws the whistle. Time it's Fields on the reach, his first personal.
George Brown, they're doing a good job at that press, being really aggressive.
And Graham, around for a moment there, and there's substitution.
Might have been his wrist. He has some tape around it.
Ocampo now into the game for George Brown. Showed a look of a trap for a moment, did not get set up. Graham holding onto the ball, now it gets to Ramel. 14 on the shot clock. Mercury Jr. loses the ball on the shot attempt. Picked up by Barry, moved up by Fields. Keeps it far side, now looping with it, Tyrell Taylor. Trying to give it to Brown, couldn't get it to work on the meshing. Fields drives it, bounce to the corner. Brown, three, second option, doesn't work out. Ensko moved up once again to Mercury Jr. Campo on the defense. 1-1, still a man look. Bounced around to Ensko. Ensko moves to his right, drives it in. Brown may have got a piece of it. Here comes George Brown. Oh, Taylor again, outside. Barry, three, no good. Brown, chance to give for the putback. Ocampo, no good. And lots of opportunities like this going for no points for long stretches.
Yep, lots of second chance. And then Mohawk responds.
Now Kawora puts in the bucket. Long two signaled with a foot on the line. 1 minute to go in the first half. Ocampo from even deeper. No good. Saved by Taylor, but he knocks down a sign. Here comes Mercury Jr. Kawora looking for back-to-back. No good and a whistle.
That's one thing Mohawk has done a good job at. When George Brown has 2, 3, 4 shots and doesn't make it, they come down and they score a big bucket.
That goes against Barry, by the way. His second, team fourth. And now, timeout is signaled on the court.
George Brown getting lots of shots, lots of opportunities, lots of rebounds. And Mohawk just squeezes in. 3-point shot, 2-point shot, and they're keeping it close.
Now, yesterday for George Brown, offense came hard to come by. 74-61 game. Both teams shot around 35 to 37%. What stood out to the most to you when looking back at the tape with George Brown in that win for their 18th straight victory on the trot?
Well, I mean, it's impressive to win 18 games in a row, and obviously their team, they all buy in, they're all ready to play, and they're playing a team offense.
Yep.
You know, it's not just one person, there's a couple people, they're all sharing the points, all getting in there for those rebounds, and that's what's, helping them succeed.
To emphasize what was mentioned to Don Papa before today's game, major things mentioned with the players' focus, they are very focused, but also the laid-back and low-key personality being a big part of this, too.
And I think that helps. Coming to the game, you're not fazed by anything. You're ready to give it your all. And George Brown Husky players, that's what they're doing here. They're just playing their game, not getting upset at each other, and keep moving forward.
46.5 seconds to go in the first half of play. 39-33, George Brown. Inbound quickly, one-handed steal. Brown on the steal, Fields on the drive, contested, count it, and the foul. Ensko with the second personal. George Brown to the line to shoot one.
That was a nice strong take by Fields, and he was able to get it in for the and one.
Fields 4 for 6 from the free throw line yesterday, misses that one. Brown, second chance, no good. Tapped out by a very thin fingertip. Richards was the one on the tap. Richards still down under the basket as the field goal is made. And the whistle is blown.
Looked like he hit his head when he was jumping up for that tip-out pass.
Train staff Working quickly to check on Darnell Richards, a fourth-year player from North York, coming from Downsview Secondary School before the George Brown roster. Keep in mind the bucket did count to make it a 10-point lead for George Brown on the score sheet. So it looks like they will make a substitution after that. Bitu Kumesu coming into the game. 30.7 seconds to go in the first half. Full court pressure showcase. They've used a lot of trap today. Give it off to Romel Kawara. Hard, slip screen. Sets a second pick. More harder on the pick and fade. Move back to Ansko. Ansko, step back, the three. No good. Picks up his own miss. About maybe a tenth or two different shot clock and game clock. Yun works around the screens. Kicks it out. Romel Kamara. No good on the three, and that ends the first half of play. The George Brown Huskies lead by 10 as they are 20 minutes away from signing a date to the gold medal game. Halftime coverage coming up right after this break.
The officer found me and I was bleeding to death.
I was diagnosed with a very rare disease, which basically affects the body's ability to produce blood cells.
I received several blood transfusions from 14 different donors.
It's heartwarming that so many people factored into keeping me alive.
That beautiful gift to give blood, you saved my life.
It only takes a moment of your time, but it means a lifetime of benefit.
Become a blood donor. Visit blood.ca and book an appointment now.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex, the site of the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships here on We Digital. We're in our first semifinal game of the day, and it's the George Brown Huskies leading the Mohawk Mountaineers 43-33. As you know, all week, all broadcasts along here, I've been bringing in some of the special people that are here that do a lot of the work behind the scenes, and we're getting blessed here today to have one of those hard-working guys that does a lot of great work for the Mohawk athletic program. Matt Ferrer, he's the director of athletics at Mohawk. He's also on the OCAA Senior Leadership Council as the vice president. You're a busy guy, Matt, that's for sure.
Never too busy to make some time for you, Dom.
Well, I appreciate that, that's for sure. I like the Mohawk outfit.
Appreciate it.
They're in tough right now, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, good ball game, tough George Brown squad, and should be a battle in the second half.
Yeah, let's talk about OCAA. Let's talk about the Mohawk team. I've had a chance to talk to Coach Jonker a couple of times. Really impressed with him. He's such a, you could tell he's such a well-prepared coach and does a great job. This year it had to be really gratifying for the college just to see the way this team developed and has made it this far.
Yeah, certainly. I think with Brian, he's our longest tenured coach across the department, around 16 to 18 years. You know what you're going to get out of him. Calm, cool, collected, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Treats the guys like men, and then really, gets their respect early. So really pleased with him.
How has the community reacted to this team?
The community's getting behind this group. I think as a whole, the Hamilton community is really getting behind what we're doing with the Mountaineers, and really starting to embrace some of the change, and really, being able to really start to call Hamilton home.
It seems as though, and I mean, we see it down here with St. Clair, the OCA on a whole seems to be on an upswing. Fair to say that, Matt, and that, again, it's through its leadership, like yourself and the other members, that have obviously taken a conscious effort to make this something special.
Yeah, I think coming out of the last couple of years with the pandemic, whether all sport brand kind of took a bit of a hit, And I think, there have been quite a few of our members have worked really hard, like St. Clair, to put on events like this, increase the profile, really start to showcase the brand in a different light. I don't think we're there yet, but I think as a collective we're starting to raise the bar, and hopefully the next couple of years will be very fruitful.
Yeah, you mentioned don't think you're there yet. What needs to be done, do you think, Matt? Still, what work would you like to see to help it get to that, even another level?
I think just providing a platform for our athletes and really showcasing the OCAA as a very prevalent, prominent platform for intercollegiate sport.
Yeah, and of course we've always talked about it. The student athlete, the importance of that, the importance of making sure that the academics come first, then the athletics. It's a tough act to juggle, isn't it?
It is. It certainly is. I was blessed enough to be a student athlete. Went that route. Was also a coach in the OCAA. So I can, we see, and I can speak firsthand to a lot of those pieces that we juggle to try to make sure that they have a very fulsome student-athlete experience, but are pulling weight in the classroom and in the community, and making sure they get that full experience.
So your job now, we understand athletic director, but on the council, the OCAA council, how does that work, and what's the job of that council?
So our OCAA Senior Leadership Council represents all members across the conference. There's, I think, 6 appointed members, 2-year terms. So I act on behalf of the conference in the best interest of the conference when it comes to awards and finance, and then represent the OCAA at the national level within the CCAA.
So a tournament like this, obviously there's financial responsibilities that have to be put in place, things like this. How important are these tournaments to the OCAA, and do you see them growing at all, Matt?
Yeah, with these events are really the showcase for our sports, especially a men's basketball tournament, really a high-profile event. So, we want to see fans in the stands. You guys did a great job last night packing the place. I'm sure.
Pretty fun place last night.
I'm sure tonight, Lambton St. Clair will draw a massive crowd again. So I'd say very important in the big picture in terms of boosting the profile of our different sports across the conference.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, because we've been doing this OCAA stuff for a few years now, and I keep telling people this is a hidden gem.
I agree.
And I hate saying that, to be honest with you, Matt, because it shouldn't be hidden. I think if people really gave this thing, this group of athletes a chance, they'll find some really great athleticism, some great competition. How tough is it to get the word out, and is that what's really needed?
I think it's just a conscientious effort by all, across the conference on keeping to push our brand and our profile. And I think, as the brand grows and as the competition gets better, people will latch onto it.
All right. Well, we're certainly glad you're working at it. That's great. It's good for the OCAA, and really appreciate your time here. I hope your stay in Windsor has been good. And I know you're still pulling for the Mohawks. They're going to pull something out here in the second half, right?
Absolutely. Go Mountaineers.
All right. Good stuff. That's Matt Ferrer, the Director of Athletics at Mohawk. We thank him for his time. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll check in with Logan Cuchero. We'll get a breakdown of that first half. You're watching the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships on We Digital Productions. Welcome back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex. We're at halftime of our first semifinal match. The George Brown Huskies and the Mohawk Mountaineers doing battle. The Huskies have grabbed a 43-33 lead here at the half. Of course, Logan Kuchera, our color analyst, joins us now on the broadcast, and I'm really impressed with George Brown. They have got a really nice focus. They really took charge of that first half, I thought.
Yeah, they came out strong and fast pace, and they're hitting shots and they're driving as well. So the inside and outside game is really helping them in this first half.
One guy, and we were sitting together watching, and one guy that stood out to both of us was that of number 15, Jeremiah Brown. This guy's a real treat to watch.
Yeah, and he's a lefty. You don't see many lefty basketball players out there, and so he's driving it. He's taking shots outside, and he's one of those players that looks like almost sneaky, but he's smart.
Here's a look at some of the numbers. Let's take a look at them. Field goal percentage pretty even at 37%. But you look at the three-point field goals, Mohawk's only 3 of 13. That's obviously hurting them.
Yeah. And, they need to start going to their inside game. Their shots aren't falling right now, so change it up, get to the basket, and then you can move it back outside.
Free throws are pretty even. The turnovers, again, Mohawk not helping their cause. 13 turnovers to only 4 by George Brown.
Yeah, and George Brown's scoring those points off those turnovers, which is good for them.
Yeah, 12 points off the turnovers, which, as Logan just mentioned, is huge. Rebounds pretty even, just one different there. And steals, again, though, you look at George Brown. George Brown has the key stats, and you could see why they're leading this half.
Yeah, and they're really fast teams, so you can tell tonight that they came out to play, and we're looking forward to the second half.
I guess if you're Mohawk, you're down 10. It's not a huge amount. It's a little bit of a battle, though. But I guess if you're Coach Jonker, you're saying, look, we didn't have our best half. We're still in this game.
Yep, I totally agree. And I've been in this situation before, and you just got to come out strong. Nothing happened in the first half. Treat the second half like it's the beginning of the game.
Good advice, that's for sure. And if you're Coach Dawkins, of course, you're happy with that half. Does he need the guys to turn it up a little more? Again, I'm really impressed with how focused they are.
Yeah, and staying composed in the second half is really important for them.
All right, good stuff. All right, so that's the story after 20 minutes of play, our first semifinal match. Of course, we have one other game today. I want to plug it right now. It'll be at 6:30, around 6:30. If everything goes according on time, it should start at 6:30. And that's the other semifinal match. I can't tell you how excited I am about this game. The Lambton Lions and the St. Clair Saints are playing for a bid to get into the gold medal game. Logan, I think this game is going to be a classic.
Yeah, and you know what? They know this exact feeling from last year, so I think they're going to come out hot and ready.
And that's the thing. There's some history there. It's a rivalry.
Yes.
And they know each other so very well.
Yes.
There's just very minuscule room for anything.
Yeah, so they got to stay focused.
Yep, it's going to be a fun game. So we'll have that for you right after this one. A quick timeout. When we come back, it's back to Justin Prince and Jenna Kuchera, the call of the second half. This is the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships on We Digital Productions.
Mont's On-Time Express, established in 2006, strategically based on the border in Windsor, Ontario, offers its services to anyone in Canada or the United States. From minivans to 24-foot straight trucks, we're committed to make any move, big or small, quick and easy for our customers. For bigger loads, accommodations can be made to supply dry vans as well as flatbed trucks. Our highly trained drivers always follow all safety protocols and precautions to ensure your shipments not only arrive on time, but more importantly, safe. Our dispatch is available 24/7, 365, and we constantly have trucks on the move throughout Ontario, Quebec, and the United States. We are strongly supported by a first-class compliance department so that we meet all current regulations on both sides of the border. We use the most updated dispatch software to access and follow our freight wherever it goes. Our trucks are equipped with GPS and cell phone tracking, so you know when your shipment will arrive. Being CSA Fast, PIP, CTPAT, and SmartWay approved, we can accommodate all of our customers' requests. When it needs to be on time, Mont's On Time Express.
Every child should learn how to swim, for health, for safety, and for fun. That's why we've started Canada's Swim Team. Learn to swim at least 25 meters on your own, and you're on the team. Canada's Swim Team. It's that easy. Help make us the world's largest swim team by adding your name at getswimming.ca. Ask your parents first. Swimming, the only sport that can save your life.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of the OCAA semifinals for the men's basketball championships. Justin Prince, Janica Serra with you as we get ready for the start of this second half of play. It's been very competitive for much of the way, but turnovers, as mentioned by Dom and Logan, a big part of this deficit. Outshot right now in terms of attempts. The Mountaineers are right now by 11. There have been 10 George Brown steals.
Exactly, and as we were just talking about, some of Mohawk's starters need to take more shots sooner than later so that they can get right back into this game.
So now it's the matter of seeing how the second half of play goes. It's going to be intriguing how these teams adjust. Daniel Graham, for reference, has taken just 2 shots. He was the leading scorer last night for the Mountaineers.
Exactly, so he'll have to come out in this third quarter on fire, knocking down those shots and getting shot opportunities.
So both teams getting all set to go to start off the third quarter of play. Starting 5 for Mohawk back onto the floor. Daniel Graham along with the Kaoras, joined by Mackenzie Hart, along with Jerry Mercury Jr. on the floor for George Brown. After foul troubles earlier, Derek Taylor returns to the court, joined by Nazim Berry. Also joining on the court to start off the quarter is Campbell, along with Ocampo. Rounded 5 is Fields. Ocampo starts off the shooting with a front rim hit from 3. Up the floor, Graham starts off immediately with the shot, put back by Mercury Jr.
And that's what we were just talking about. Graham taking it right to the hoop, right off the bat.
How about that to get the double-double? The putback is enough to get him to 10 points and 10 rebounds so far tonight. Campbell, drawn outside to Berry. Move back to Campbell. Putting up the contested 3. Rims around and out. Mercury Jr. on the board. Graham again driving. Graham again taking it to the cup. This time good.
There we go. That's exactly what we were talking about. Graham, he's being aggressive, and we'll see what it takes the rest of the quarter.
6-point deficit for the Mountaineers to the Huskies. Campbell was the reach coming from Graham. Now tries to drive past Hart. Up on the float. No good. Picked up by Kale Kaora. Kale Kaora tripped up. Pass back over to Graham. Move to Ramel. Take it over to Hart. Now back to Ramel. Looking to open up lanes now for Mercury Jr. Mercury Jr. moves to the far side. Ramel takes it over towards Mercury Jr. Mercury Jr. voids the spin, but draws the whistle for the travel back the other direction.
Looks like on the spin, his foot dragged just a little too much, and the referee caught that.
Here's on the replay.
Yep.
And the substitution on that sequence, Andre Barrow coming in. Barrow, keep in mind, was a big part of the scoring yesterday. Been very quiet today. Fields calls for the screen from his fellow guard of Campo on the slip. Fields draws contact. Kale Kaora with his 3rd personal and the first team foul of the third quarter.
Good take by Fields there to get to the line right away early in the third quarter. He's been a key aspect to the George Brown Huskies team so far.
In that first half of play as the first one drops, Fields pointed that free throw 10 points, but also a huge total. 3 steals out of those 10 were from him.
He's fast. He gets aggressive, and he's not afraid to go to the floor for the ball.
Hart gets it to Cam Kawara. Looking dribble forward, spinning, fading back, or Barrow, no good. Last touch that time, pierced by the Huskies. Campbell. About coming from the baseline as a result there. Mel inbounds it for the three. The corner, no good, Graham. Barry on the board, taken up by Ocampo. To Barrow, out to Fields. Fields spins back from the free throw line. Open, Barry, three, rolls in and good.
Mohawk's going to want to continue to get their hands in the Huskies' faces so they can't get any three-point shots that easy.
On the other end, Mercury Jr. makes it look easy.
Sure does. Nice little reverse layup there.
48-39, George Brown approaching 3 minutes into the third quarter of play here on Weeds at Door. Semi-final for the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Mohawk wants to touch it. George Brown remaining with the possession.
Good hands there by Hart to get a hand on it, force an out-of-bounds play.
11 still on the shot clock. Deflected on the inbound. Field still gets it. Ocampo from way deep. Hello!
He has a nice shot as soon as he released that.
Back on the other end, Graham, no good. Hart out to Ramel for three, no good. Hart on the board, put back. McKenzie watches as his teammate Mercury Jr. doesn't get it. Taken back up by Fields. Has some space in the paint, no good.
Too strong there by Fields.
Now Kawara on the board, given to Kale Kawara. Trying to dribble it left. Move to Ramel. Ramel drives it right. Through to three defenders. Draws the whistle for two free throws.
Mohawk is still being aggressive. That's what we like to see. And they're keeping it a close game despite missing some easy shots.
So Ocampo in the vicinity, but Nassim Berry, the one credited with the personal. First team foul, second for Berry. So a couple substitutions coming in before the free throw. Campo Munsto shuffling into a different position on the slotting. Ensko in. Barrow also remaining now in, but in for that squad is Jeremiah Brown. First free throw, no good. Comes to Romel Kawara, 7 points in the first half, but 2 for 10 shooting. 8 of those attempts from deep. Makes the second.
Mohawk's really going to want to focus every time they get to that foul line.
Mind they shot 6 for 9 in the first half of play from that charity stripe. Ocampo thought about shooting it from nearly at the logo. Barrow given over to Campbell. Back to Fields. Fields sidestep. Shot no good. Put back good. Jeremiah Brown on the putback. Graham on the drive back. Kicked out to Yun. Yun moved down to Ramel. Yun the three on the pass back. No good. Tapped out for the second chance. Ensko. Multiple whistles as it to travel.
Mercury just missing the rebound there. His teammate getting it, but not having the feet set.
Ensko, the West Division 6th Man of the Year and all-rookie team member on the travel. Campo to Barrow. Bottom of the shot clock. And Ensko picks up his third personal. So a travel and a foul in the span of less than 30 seconds. First-year player from Hammond County, Ontario.
Yep, definitely had the hands on there. Mohawk's going to want to keep playing smart to keep this a close game down the stretch.
Coming to halfway through the third quarter. George Brown with their largest advantage of the game. 13 points, make it 15 on the alley-oop. And it looks like a signal over to the Mohawk bench on the play. And now a technical given to Mohawk's bench. Brian Yonker not happy. And now George Brown wants a timeout. So the Huskies take the timeout after the tee up from the Mohawk side.
Interesting few seconds of play there.
So now with the timeout, the Huskies, the largest lead of the game, 15 points, with control. The momentum's been on George Brown's side all day.
Yes, especially out of the halftime. George Brown has had that momentum. On defense, on offense, they're doing all the right things. They're doing the little things, and that's what counts.
So now it's the matter, how does Mohawk respond here? Jerry Mercury Jr., he's done well. 12 points, 12 rebounds. It can't be just one person, though.
Nope, you can't rely on one player to get the job done. It has to be a team effort. It's a team game. All five out there on the court. They got to come together and make it happen. So we'll see how Mohawk comes out of this timeout. Score a fast bucket right off the hop.
Mohawk already finishing up their timeout huddle. George Brown finishing up theirs. So back to play, about halfway to go in the third quarter of play. George Brown.
Down court.
16-point deficit. Graham gives it off. Mercury Jr., three, no good. Ensko taps it in.
Nice putback there by Ensko.
Tight window for Ensko. Ensko able to put it into the cup. Back on the other side, Ocampo. Around for Fields. Fields trying to sprint, gives it off on the drive. It's Brown for the bucket.
Brown's having a way better game today. Already at 15 points.
In the conversation for the double-double, too. He had 6 points in the first half as a reach. That time on the reach on the drive with Campbell for his first.
Yep, that's a foul.
Right hand as substitution Masters into the game. Fields coming out. A long inbound taken away by Barrow, who steps out of bounds, so Mohawk gets the ball back.
Those are risky passes, especially, guys who can jump high, keep it low on the floor. Because that was almost a turnover and 3 points for George Brown.
Just being confirmed. George Brown still showing a trap look. Trap backs off. But rode the trailer on Graham. Graham tries to speed to the paint again. Makes the layup again.
That's what Mohawk needs to do. That's Graham's game. He can get to the rim and finish.
Burrell, meanwhile, gives it off to Campbell. Looking for the set play. Give it to Masters. Masters on the round. Ocampo. Sent it all the way to the far side of the court. Cross-court pass to Masters. 3 on the shot clock. Running out of time. Barrow doesn't see the shot clock. Shot clock violation.
That was a nice response after scoring a bucket, coming down on defensive end and playing hard and forcing a turnover.
So after that shot, 4 substitutions. Brown coming out. Also coming out, Masters returning to the game as Fields. He brings with him Derek Taylor. Down from the far side, taken by Young. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. A 14-point deficit for the Mohawk Mountaineers. Ensko draws hard contact. He'll go to the line to shoot for 2.
Nice series of passing there by the Mohawk Mountaineers. Sharing the ball.
With the free throw sequence, though, the gap trimmed down to 13. Pass now, Taylor. Moved to Ocampo. Floated over to Fields. Moved to Campbell. Back to Fields. 13 on the shot clock. Fields holds on to it to Ocampo. Campbell sets up the double screen. Now tries the roll. Ocampo takes the drive and makes the bucket. Barrow on the board that time. Fields takes it across the timeline. Trying to size up Young. Moved outside. Campbell wants the time for three. No good. Front of the rim.
It was a nice look. Just couldn't get it to go. And Mohawk will come back down.
Let's go on the swing. Now it's Ramon Camara. Up to the pass to Graham. Graham inside again. Too strong.
Graham's had some nice looks. Just hasn't had that soft touch to lay it up and in.
Fields, meanwhile, gives it to Barrow on the set play again. Tried this play several times. Now they go to the air variation. Campbell drives in over Ramel. Gets it.
Nice left-hand finish from the right-hand side.
Young, meanwhile, bounced over to Ansko. Quick play. Not able to get the quick bucket. Campbell. Move to the corner. Taylor, open three, good. Timeout, Mohawk.
George Brown still has that momentum, and they're not looking to let it go anytime soon.
The George Brown Huskies now with a 20-point advantage. The late stages of the third quarter of play. What do you do if you are Coach Jonker here? What started off as fairly tight has grown into not so close.
I would keep telling my players, don't give up. 20-point lead. I've seen many teams come back from 20-point deficit, right? So they need to come out of that timeout strong, aggressive, look for easy buckets, and just don't force anything.
See that discussion point too in the midst of that huddle.
Look serious, everyone's focused. That's what you like to see in a timeout.
You know who's been very focused today? Jeremiah Brown. 15 points and 7 rebounds so far. Very different game compared to yesterday. We was very quiet for the field.
Definitely, and looking at his facial expression there, was talking to the assistant coach before the game, and he said his face will not change the entire game. He will stay like that, focused, tuned in, and there's proof right there from Jeremiah Brown.
So coming out of the timeout, the Huskies with the largest lead of the game, 20 points, with 2:12 to go in the third quarter. Barrow, Fields, along with Taylor, Campbell, Ocampo into the game for the Huskies. Mercury Jr., Kale Kaora, Yun, along with Ansko, Ramel Kaora. The 5 on the court. Ramel takes the corner 3, misses again. Picked up by Taylor. Up by Barrow. Bounced off Ocampo as it goes out of bounds for the turnover.
George Brown has done a really good job this game at fast break. And just like that one, trying to get the fast break points, just lost the handle on the ball there.
And after the slide, Ocampo being substituted out now for Jacob Masters. They'll take their time before getting rolling again. Young looks to the far side. Working to his left. Driving. Fields on the contest. Bucket good.
Nice bucket there by Young. All the way from the backcourt.
Young 7 points so far today. The shot on Campbell good.
Campbell drained another one behind the arc.
Campbell draining the bucket to grow the gap to 21 points. Young through the double team off to Ansko. Tries to pass contested, still finds Mercury Jr. Rims everywhere but inside the cup. Knocked it out of bounds. George Brown basketball. And more substitutions being signaled for. After that sequence, it's Tyrell Taylor returning to the game. Now Tyrell Taylor being told to move back. Now moves forward with Masters and Fields now back in. Full court pressure. Young nearly steals it.
He knew exactly where the ball was going. He almost had another 2 points there.
At this point, you have to do this. Even though there's still 11 minutes or so to go total.
Exactly. You got to do anything at this point.
On the drive, a whistle. Tyrell Taylor to the line to shoot 2. That's the last foul to give for Mohawk in the third. And they credit the personal to Mercury Jr. It's first personal for Mercury Jr. today. The first free throw swishes in. We'll say Tyrell Taylor very quiet so far throughout this game. His first points of the day right here.
Free points, as you would say, Justin.
Yeah. Calcaora. Part by Fields. 1:02 to go in the third quarter. Calcaora rolls it off a foot. Passed out of the double team. Atsko from the free throw line. Can't make it.
Mohawk has had a lot of shots that have spinned and in and out.
What do you do to try and prevent that at this point?
Well, one of them's going to have to drop eventually, right?
Eventually, we'll see. Barrow diving on top of the Mountaineers. Now Taylor comes in to help. Rommel tries to rip it. Now Taylor comes away with it. One of the shot clock. No one looked at the clock. And now this may lead to a discussion on how this was supposed to play out for the shot clock.
I think the refs were watching all the bodies fall to the floor that they forgot to blow the whistle.
Looks like they will be adding time to the shot clock.
That was a hard one because no one really had possession for a long period of time there.
And you see, by that point, there's 2 seconds of the shot clock.
Exactly.
What do you do?
Yeah, they would have to chuck it up.
And now before the inbound, signal from the near side official. Ron Junker set up around that vicinity. Inbound coming from the far side from Fields. Campbell. Calcaora smothering and a foul. Calcaora now in major foul trouble. That's his 4th personal. And that's the foul they had left to avoid triggering the bonus.
Had a little bit too much hands on there.
Calcaora, mind you, 9 points, 3 assists, but now another personal to add to that middle category. .25 seconds to go in the quarter. Now Campbell to the stripe. And the first no good from the stripe.
George Brown hyping up his players. I love it.
And the second's good. References to Jason Dawkins, who is trying to hype up Darnell Richards, who's already back on the set as that one gets tapped. So the re-inbound here.
Good to see Richards back in the game after he hit his head in the first half there.
Inbound. Passed up the floor. The first time in this series, that is Mimo Gomez on the floor. On the cut. Mercury Jr. fade back. Rolls it in on the fadeaway.
Nice shot there by Mercury Jr.
Last shot of the quarter, 4 seconds to work with. A long 3, no good. And after 3 quarters of play, George Brown leads 71-49, 10 minutes away from a trip to the gold medal game. More coverage after the break on Wheat Digital.
For every big breath, for every little breath, and for every breath in between, Ontario Power Generation is committed to keeping Ontario's air clean. That's why the power we generate is 99% free of smog and carbon emissions. Because clean air matters to us all.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
What can milk do? Well, it can turn you into a morning person. It can help fuel some pretty tough stuff. And it can definitely make cartoons funnier.
No, it can't.
Oh, well, it can have a little edge. But come on, even kiddies love it. It'll keep up with you at any age. It makes engines whir and creme brulee creamy. It's one of the easiest labels you'll ever read. And anything that makes this happen is pretty special. In fact, what can't milk do?
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor for coverage of the fourth quarter for the first of two semifinals today on We Digital, the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship. 71-49 for the Huskies over the Mountaineers. We get ready to start off the fourth quarter of play. Jenna, what do you do if you're Mohawk down at this point with 10 minutes to go in this fourth?
They have to keep working hard, keep pushing the pace. Don't settle for anything less, and get those easy buckets. Start off by going for twos, moving your way out to the three-point line.
Well, they start things off moving around the three-point line in the mid-range to off of the shot clock with Mercury Jr. Looking to step back inside the arc, air ball, kept alive and thrown away for another turnover. That's the 18th Mountaineers turnover, a big difference. That's a plus 11 in more turnovers. And now whistle. This time it's Young picking up the personal, his second. That's to say, ball control's been huge tonight.
It has been, and George Brown has definitely dominated ball control.
Oh, and a steal back nearly. No. Last touched by Graham. And some of the fans that are right there wanted that to go Mohawk's way. Oh, but that's the Kawara fan club, and a late whistle. Fields down on the court. And a push is awarded there.
Young can't believe it.
Was with the hip. Looked like with the hip.
Yes, definitely. Hip on hip for sure.
So two quick personals for Young. And another one, this time offensive foul. This time John R. Richards with his second personal, team first.
Bit of a moving screen there. We'll see this replay. Yep, he was moving.
So with the moving screen, Mountaineers back with the ball. Graham moved out to Young. Pass to Gomez. Rejected once again. Tapped up Gomez off his ankles. Gomez dives on top of it. Two more Huskies try and dive. Which way does it go? George Brown has it go their way. That was very quick, right in front of the scores table.
Yeah, I couldn't even see it. Lots of bodies diving, though. That's what you like to see.
Still 71-49, about 1 minute into this fourth quarter play on We Did It All. Looking around on the outside is Richards. The three, it's good!
Little smile on his face after knocking down that three.
And meanwhile, draws the reach and Fields takes responsibility quickly for his second personal, team second. Keep in mind, Fields today, very solid, 11.6 assists.
Yeah.
That doesn't include his blocks and steals.
That's very true. He's scoring, but he's also distributing the ball.
More substitutions, by the way. Cam Kawara, despite 4 personals back into the game. Ansko coming in. Young sizes up left and right. Looking out to Ansko. Ansko jumping in, making it in.
Nice response there by Ansko.
Ansko, 7 points so far tonight for the Mountaineers. Continues now for Fields. Works off the screen from Richards. On the outside, Barrow moves right. Pass to the corner, Campbell. 3 in the shot clock for Taylor from way deep, no good. Picked up by Mercury Jr. again on the glass. Down to the drive, Ramel Kawara to the line to shoot 2.
He was hoping that went in. It's a good series of passing, though, to get it to the rim.
So in our substitution on the play, Barry going in. Personal given to Gomez. Second player from Mexico. First one good for Ramel Kawara. 9 points, 3 for 5 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, but 2 for 12 shooting.
That's definitely hurt him here in this game tonight.
Another miss from the free throw line. Still a 22-point advantage. Campbell. Right by Ansko. Move to the outside, Fields off the pump. Over Mercury Jr.'s hand off the front of the rim, no good. Kawara takes it back up quick inside. Mercury Jr. taps it out and steps out with it as he takes it on the padding.
Nice no-look pass there. Unfortunately, just couldn't get the hands on it.
Full court pressure showcased again for the Mountaineers. Do they keep it up? No. Drop back. Fields. Round Yun. An offensive foul.
That was a good call.
Looked like 2 different players got knocked down there.
Yeah.
Fields, regardless, his 3rd personal, but already 14 fouls for George Brown. Barrow now coming in. Graham tries to speed it in. He's done this several times tonight. No good. Picks up his own miss, though, with the strip back. And a whistle. And it's an issue with the shot clock. Supposed to be a fresh 14, was reset to a full 24. So regroup for the play. Move to Young. Size up left, drops the ball. Ocampo on the break. Move to Campbell. Good.
It's one thing George Brown has done really well tonight is getting those turnovers and scoring off of them.
Yellow Keller. Moved around. Mercury Jr. to the 3. Makes it swish.
Nice shot by Mercury Jr. there.
He's been doing that all night.
He has been. His stat line is very good, and he's been working hard.
Off the screen. This is Taylor. Move back to Barry. Barry surrounded by 2 Mountaineers. Open lane for Taylor for 3. No good. Mercury Jr. turned the rebound. But now to Cal Kawara. Move to Graham. Graham taking a 3. Too strong on the 3. Barry the rebound, having to spin away from it. Push pass, picked up. Now the drive. Barrow, front rim, no good. Second chance, draws contact and 2 free throws. And in turn, Graham picks up his first personal of the game. Team 3rd.
Got his own rebound, went right back up strong, and now he'll get a chance at the foul line.
Now keep in mind, Barrow, we talked about in fair length yesterday. He was a critical part of George Brown's game last night.
He was, and he's come into this game and he's done great things for the Huskies.
Keep in mind, when it comes to him last evening specifically, Barrow picked up in 16 minutes, 13 points, 4 rebounds. in the winning effort.
Comes off the bench and does great things.
Keep in mind, that was in a lot of 2-minute spurts.
Yeah.
Long inbound, Yun off the bounce, drives it wide open for the layup.
That was almost another turnover for Mohawk, but they were able to get their hands on the ball and get that bucket.
Off the court. The loop back to Tyrell Taylor. Pass from Campbell. Now Tyrell Taylor. Move back to Campbell. Back to Tyrell Taylor. 6 on the shot clock. Now to Barry. Barry, fade away. Side of the rim, no good. Campbell putback rolls in. And a whistle after the putback.
Not sure what the ref just said.
Looked like a signal with the right hand on the forehead.
I think you're right.
So based on that, usually with that signal, what would that usually mean?
I'm really not too sure. I should know that, though.
Gail Kalora for the 3. No good. That time bouncing off one of the Mohawk Mountaineers, Ricky Morrison, in now for Mohawk. Campo gives it to Barry. Barry bobbles it. 12 on the shot clock. Now he loses it. Kalora takes it up. Morrison to his left. Give it to Morrison. Morrison taking a mid-range. Doesn't draw the rim. Campbell looking at the play. Ocampo has it nearly stolen away. Ocampo tries to pass it up. Now given instead to Robert. Robert, whistle before the shot. And that comes with about 13 on the shot clock. And it looks like a personal. That is against Graham, his second. Both teams on the cusp of being in the bonus with that as an underchange. Derek Taylor.
Lots of hands everywhere. Playing scrappy to try and get that ball.
Now see Barry in, turned over on the inbound. 4:56 to go, 80-57, George Brown. Gail Kalora driving straight down Main Street for the bucket.
Mohawk trying to do everything they can here to stay in this game.
Graham steals it, gets to the line to shoot 2. And a tight inbound sequence there.
Yep. Graham was ready for it.
So time running out. Let's look.
A bad pass by George Brown. Easy steal for Graham there.
So Graham makes the first 2. Since the start of the second half, he has started to pick up more opportunities. 6 points, 3 quarters, now 8 points total. He was, remember, at 2 points in the first half.
Yes, he's done better this half. Still quiet, though.
Robert, he hasn't been quiet. He lays it up and in. Graham, looking left to right everywhere, draws more contact and draws another foul.
Graham trying to do everything he can to get to that foul line.
And George Brown is over the limit. Tyrell Taylor, his second personal.
So I can imagine Mohawk's going to continue to drive for the rest of this quarter, knowing they're in bonus.
First one's no good. Second does roll in. Campbell. Look for the size up. Morrison getting close on time. Stolen away. Romel Kalora driving in. Misses it. No good. Fields on the play. One player down. It's Fields. Play continues and the whistle blows for 2 free throws.
Looks like Fields went down there on his ankle, but he's getting back up. Down again.
And the train staff checking on Fields. Been stellar defensively all series.
He has been.
So right down to this point. Campbell called for the personal on that. Here's another look. It's at full speed.
George Brown, coach, technical foul.
Yep. Technical given from that. So now a technical free throw also considered in this sequence as Fields brought by the training staff over to the training table. The East Division Defensive Player of the Year now off the floor. Derek Taylor coming in. So Graham to the line. Mountaineers trailing 82-62. Graham, keep in mind, led the way in scoring in the regular season in terms of total points and points per game, 20.1. He makes the first. 2 more free throws signal. Second, no good. Coming up after this, Lambton, St. Clair. On We Digital, 6:30 p.m. start time. 2 missed free throws in a row. Tyrell Taylor steps out of bounds, turns it over.
Going a little too fast.
Barrow now coming into the game. Coming out. Here's to be Campbell. On the drive, bucket good. The inbound Barrow. Pass to Campbell, stolen away by Kale Kalora, but loses the ball out of bounds.
Kale's had his hand on that ball a lot of times in this game tonight.
And a timeout called on the floor. Mohawk still trailing by 17. George Brown taking the time to discuss things here as the Mountaineers have started to chip away a bit here.
They have. They're getting in there, getting scrappy. They're not giving up. They're fighting right until that final buzzer goes off. And I think George Brown was getting a little worried there for a second. A couple turnovers. Mohawk scored. So we'll see what happens out of this timeout.
See the 2 different approaches to the clipboard, George Brown. Gonker, not so much right now in those discussions.
Yep, a little different on both sides here.
So what's that message like now for Coach Jonker, you think?
Well, I've been in that position before. And I know that you just got to go out there and play hard and give it your all. Because in the end, you don't want to have any regrets.
So timeouts being completed, 82-65 the score. Here's a look at Cal Campbell's stat line. 13 points, 6 assists so far off the bench tonight.
Scoring and also, again, sharing that ball with his teammates.
Yokoro wants the guard spots now for the inbound. Right close on time, just being in the 5-second violation. Moved up on the throw. Derek Taylor stole it away. Calcor to Ramel for the 3. Rolls out. Rebound Mercury Jr. Put back, rejected by Robert. On the board, moved up by O'Campbell. Fast break, 3-on-1. Stolen away by the 1. And tapped out. Whistles fly. And it looks like we may see some free throws coming. Yes. So it's Derek Taylor calling on the personal, his 3rd.
I think he was just expecting to get the ball back as it went off the Mohawk foot, but it was a foul before that.
So Yana on the steal. And again, Graham to the line. He's missed a fair bit of free throws, though, this quarter. That one drops.
There he goes, got the bounce for that one.
And the second one does drop. 3:30 to go in regulation. A 15-point game. Barry back in, Robert out. Looking to try and inbound Taylor. This time goes short. Barrow takes it up far side. Graham strips it. Barrow gets it back. Move back to Taylor. Campbell. Move back again. Derek Taylor. Ocampo. Through the Caloras. 5 of the shot clock. Barrow outside. Ocampo has 2 to work with. On the shot. No good. Mercury Jr. takes the fast break. Moving up the left wing. Cross to Graham. Extra pass. Yun, the 3. It's good! Yun on the tray. And the Mountaineers close it down to 12 points down. Tapped out by Graham. Stays George Brown basketball.
Mercury Jr. getting another rebound for his team tonight, bringing it down the court. Some nice passing leads to a 3-point play.
Momentum shifting here. Inbound, given to Barry. Barry with Mercury Jr. on D. Vancora. Now switch to Mercury Jr. Now on Derek Taylor. Down low, wide open. The bucket, Barry.
Mohawk is doing their best to be aggressive, but in that case, left someone wide open.
With it is Graham. Working around the Caloras outside. The 3 taken. The 3 missed. Mercury Jr. Campbell to Barrow, nearly stolen again. Move down the baseline again. The bucket back-to-back, Barry. Coming up to 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter of play. 86-70. Cam Calora puts up the bucket. Now pressure defense. Stolen away by Graham again. On the drive. Puts it up and in. Graham nearly swats it back. Barrow open baseline. Rejected by Cam Calora.
He got up there.
Coming up is Ramel Calora. Puts up a 3 over Campbell. Good.
Count it.
George Brown lets it play out. Campbell wide open. Yun battles for the ball. Rips it down. Whistles down the baseline for the jump ball.
Mohawk is still in this game.
George Brown still with the signal. Gomez coming back into the game. The fans standing on their feet.
He got up there.
Timeout taken by George Brown. That's their second to last timeout. And you could feel the momentum start to shift in the past 3 minutes. Mohawk now within single digits. They trail by as many as 24 points.
Well, we both said we knew Mohawk wasn't going to give up. And out of that last timeout, they showed us. Diving to the floor, playing scrappy. And honestly, I think it's their full court press that's really done the job. They're getting hands on the ball, they're getting steals, and it's converting into 2 points each time.
How do you keep it up now in these final 2 minutes?
I think same thing. You continue the aggressiveness, you continue that full court press, and you just try and get your hands on the ball. Get those steals, make the Huskies nervous.
And now, with a few minutes to work with, the Mountaineers look to try and come back from double-digit points down. Down to 91 seconds to go in regulation. George Brown with the basketball in the 9-point lead. Mentioned Gomez substituted in prior to the timeout for Mohawk. Inbound being set up by Campbell. Round the screens, Derek Taylor trying to open up. Campbell deflected in the inbound, stolen away by Gomez. Pass to Mercury Jr., stopped by Ocampo by a foul. Ocampo with his 3rd personal. And now Mercury Jr. to the line to shoot 2.
Just as we talked about, they got their hands on that pass, went down for 2-on-1. To the foul line they go.
Jerry Mercury Jr. leading the way in scoring for Mohawk, 17 points. Along with the double-double with the rebounds. Makes the first of 2. Mohawk has not led once today against George Brown. Second one bounces in. 7-point lead now for George Brown. Long pass, Ocampo. Campo voids one of the Caloras, draws the end one, count it.
And just like that, Ocampo responds with the and one after getting that foul down on the other end.
Mercury Jr., his second personal. Both teams now in the bonus. Naz Robert being substituted in. So making a change now. Gomez for Yun. Free throw good. Robert comes in for Ocampo. Side being utilized by George Brown. Mohawk short inbound to Cam Kaora. Taken up near side. On the drive. Contested, no good. Mercury Jr. misses the putback. And a quick whistle and a foul.
I think that'll be his 5th.
And Cam Kaora with 13 points. I'll have to head towards the bench with a reach. So Gomez comes back into the game with 1:08 to go. Mohawk's taking the opportunity to draw things up on the sideline before the free throw attempts come in from Derek Taylor. This has been a wild semifinal, let's put it that way.
I agree. This is the type of game you want to see. Although Mohawk was down 20 points, they've battled the entire time. They've battled back. We have a 10-point game with 1 minute left, and they're still going to battle right until that buzzer goes off.
First one's good from the free throw line. George Brown now with 90 points to Mohawk 79. Both good. And another change signal, Tyrell Taylor coming in this time for Barry. Yun working the offense. Yun avoiding the double. Moves it over to Ramel Camora. Ramel blocked nearly by Campbell. Tapped out, no one there. Reach, who's to touch it? And they say it's Mohawk basketball.
Mercury Jr. just got his hand on it, but off Campbell last.
Watch Mercury Jr.
Was able to save it in for himself, and with Campbell's momentum, he brought it out.
Inbound right in front of the scorer's table. Yun with 10 on the shot clock. Spins it back. And another whistle. That's Derek Taylor with a 4th personal. Mercury Jr., the one who is holding the ball at the time of the whistle. 46.9 seconds to go. Mercury Jr. to the line to shoot 2.
Looks like it might have been a little Charlie horse right in the quad there.
And their substitution quickly being signaled for. Barrow for Masters. So Barrow comes out for now. George Brown already is setting up for what they expect from the free throws. They've sent Masters all the way to the far corner as the first one falls. Second one off the back of the rim. Taken by Derek Taylor. Stolen back away. Yun for 3 off the front of the rim. Rebound picked up by Tyrell Taylor. Now trying to break into the double, they do. Campbell avoids one reach. Second reach avoided. Trying to go for the foul still, and now they pick it up off of Romel Kalora, his first. And Mohawk may just be about out of time here. So Derek Taylor to the line again.
Doing everything they can to get that ball.
The first free throw is good. George Brown. With both free throws, now just 31.2 seconds away for a chance for their second gold medal in 3 tournaments. The OCAA. Mercury Jr. out. Substitution brings Morrison in. Now a change also. Michael Berry coming in. Young out. George Brown taking the time to sub in Patrick Rivera. And more changes as Mohawk continues to make substitutions. Harpreet Gill coming in. Malik Bell coming in for the first time in this tournament.
George Brown, coach, coming all the way to half court, clapping for those Mohawk Mountaineers. Love to see it. That's good class right there.
Inbound to half court. On the pass, nearly intercepted, given right to Campbell. But a 1 second different shot clock in game clock to close it. Masters. Bounce to Campbell. Back to Masters. Playing keep away to close. Down to Tyrell. He avoids the reach. 5 of the shot clock. And George Brown will just take the shot clock violation with 0.3 seconds to go. Now they're saying 0.9 needs to be on the shot clock. Move to a full second. But for the George Brown Huskies, they are off to the gold medal game. 93-80 is the final. The George Brown Huskies with a chance to battle for their second gold medal in 3 tournaments. Well, when it comes to their opponents, Mohawk has a chance still to pick up their first medal since 2015-16. Post-game coverage coming up right after this. You're watching We Did It All.
Mont's On-Time Express, established in 2006, strategically based on the border in Windsor, Ontario, offers its services to anyone in Canada or the United States. From minivans to 24-foot straight trucks, we're committed to make any move, big or small, quick and easy for our customers. For bigger loads, accommodations can be made to supply dry vans as well as flatbed trucks. Our highly trained drivers always follow all safety protocols and precautions to ensure your shipments not only arrive on time, but more importantly, safe. Our dispatch is available 24/7, 365, and we constantly have trucks on the move throughout Ontario, Quebec, and the United States. We are strongly supported by a first-class compliance department so that we meet all current regulations on both sides of the border. We use the most updated dispatch software to access and follow our freight wherever it goes. Our trucks are equipped with GPS and cell phone tracking, so you know when your shipment will arrive. Being CSA Fast, PIP, CTPAT, and Smartway approved, we can accommodate all of our customers' requests. When it needs to be on time, Mont's On-Time Express.
Every child should learn how to swim, for health, for safety, and for fun. That's why we've started Canada's Swim Team. Learn to swim at least 25 meters on your own, and you're on the team. Canada's Swim Team. It's that easy. Help make us the world's largest swim team by adding your name at getswimming.ca. Ask your parents first. Swimming, the only sport that can save your life.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex. The OCAA Men's Basketball Championships unfolding here. Our first semifinal game is complete. George Brown will be going to the gold medal game tomorrow. They defeat the Mohawk Mountaineers 93-80. Yes, thumbs up right here. Jeremiah Brown, the star player for George Brown. Not celebrating yet. Talk to me about this game, how tough it was, and why do you think you guys were able to win this game?
Well, this is our third time playing them. We played them in the preseason before the season, exhibition game during Christmas break. So we're kind of familiar with the players. It was a good competition. We just competed. All our guys played hard, competed for one another, and came out with a win.
I don't want to take away from the win yesterday, Jeremiah, but I thought this win was much more complete. I thought you guys, in every facet of the game, defense, offense, just the control, the focus was much better. Would you agree, and what brought that on?
I would agree 100%. Last night, a lot of us is our first time at Nationals. It's a big production here at St. Clair. We got the big projectors, all the cameras, so we got the jitters out yesterday, and today we had a good shoot around, and we just kept each other up, encouraging one another.
This team's on quite a roll. I think it's 19 wins in a row now.
19 or 20, yeah.
How well have you guys played during that, and how do you sustain a 19-game winning streak?
You just got to stay leveled and trust the coaching staff.
Yeah.
We got good coaches. They put us through good systems. You just got to stay positive and trust them and have faith in our team and ourselves.
I know there'll be maybe a little bit of a celebration tonight that you got to the gold medal game, but I'm sure the guys are going to remain focused.
For sure.
Your thoughts about getting to that gold medal game and what it means to the team?
Well, we're going to try to complete the job, complete the mission, right? The only team from the East. We feel like underdogs, right? So we want to just do it the
right. Did a great job here again today. He'll be a force tomorrow, no doubt about it. This guy's a pretty special player. I need to get Logan. Logan, my color. Obviously, with Lampton. We'll get into that afterwards. But, Logan, this was a really complete performance. Even Jeremiah, I asked him, I said,
And they finished right until that final buzzer. Whereas Mohawk, they started off a little slow. They came back in that fourth quarter, but it was a little too late.
How
They're just going to have to play like they did today.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough opponent, no matter who gets there, whether it's St. Clair or Lambton, doesn't matter. Speaking of St. Clair Lambton, that's coming up at 6:30. Make sure you come back, join us. We'll have the broadcast live for you. But right now, we're going to take a little bit of a break, re-energize, and get ready for what's going to be another classic battle here. So once again, the final score here: George Brown 93, Mohawk 80. George Brown makes it to the gold medal game. On behalf of everybody here at We Digital Productions, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great day. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.